Okay, so let's continue with the part that I really worried a little bit is about this element here. This element needs a lot of work and there are not too much information because it's a part that is not quite visible in my screenshot, the screenshot I take. So let's take a look to some images I found. I will unhide everything I have. I will switch my viewport to the regular standard view. I will going to create a plane and I will going to apply a material. This material will have the one detail that is important, that is the top part of the turbines is something like this. This is a very nice image, is quite useful, so I will apply UV map as we did it before. I use bitmap fit to keep the proportion, and that's all. Okay, so what I have to do right now, I will going to draw this particular object. I can scale it, try to scale it right now, but it's not quite easy to scale it. So I will model and later I will scale it when I have modeled it. So like you can see here, what I need to do here is I have to create one line from here, one line from here. So for these lines I will going to attach both of them. I will going to select, I will remove the subdivision to have a better visibility here. So I will select the vertex and I will use the fillet. Okay, so this is more what I want. Later I will use sweep modifier and I will use a cylinder, and that's all. This is my object. The radius is something like this, and to smooth this top part I can create just a sphere. In fact, I will take a look. I will create my sphere using the snap to create my sphere exactly in the same position here. For example, this position, and I will rotate 90 degrees, and I will clone as instance. I will turn the snap on, and this is so like you can see here. If I turn on the sweep, I copy the radius, I can apply the same radius to the sphere. I can remove the bottom part and it should looks exactly what I need. I can even try to have, for example, in this particular side I have the, let me take a look how much sides I have right now inside interpolation. You can see I have six steps right now, or I can enable adaptive, or I can adjust the other. So in this case I will going to decrease the segment. I can try to decrease the segments to try to match, you can see here, the number of the other line, in case I want to attach them and maybe weld the vertex, something like that. I will not going to do that, but just in case. Okay, so for this other part I can do a lot of things. I can create, for example, a donut, something that is exactly as a tube, for example. I can create a donut, a tube. There are a lot of things that I can do. I will extrude it, and if you see the image, you can see here more or less how the extrusion should be in the size of the extrusion, how deep the extrusion should be, something like this. For example, something similar to this is approximation, obviously, but this is more or less how it should looks. And it is in the middle, so it should be something like this. Okay, so else than that, I did this using the 2D element because I can add the edit spline modifier, or I can convert to edit spline to modify edit spline object and continue drawing the other things. So right now I will going to create a rectangle here, and what I will going to do is I will going to attach here, I will going to attach this rectangle, but remember that both lines should be at the same position, so I will going to align it just in Y position. So right now both lines are in the same axis, in the same plane, and I will going to attach, and then I will make my modification. I will going to link all these lines, so I will delete those ones. I will going to refine here, delete this segment, and I will going to move using the snap to keep this particular position. Those two I will going to move to keep this one, and later I will going to connect from this line to this one, and from this line to this one. So I think this is it. I can even, for example, I can smooth. I will going to corner these lines, and I can smooth using the fillet in case I want more detail, but I think it's not a big deal having something like this. So my wings are almost ready. I need just to draw this particular shape here. I will going to do it using line. I will make a snap from here, and oh, I have to be careful with the snap I'm using. Like you can see, I'm using a snap in 3 dimension, so that's why my line is not a planar line. So I will start over again, one here, here, and here, and then I will move in the inside of my object and then close. So right now I have all my lines. I will put this inside, more or less in the middle of the object, just to avoid any particular situation with the lines. So here I will going to convert this vertex to Bezier corner, and then I will going to modify. Let me again select convert to corner all of them, and then Bezier corner. This way we're going to reset the lines. So this is okay. Okay, as always, is not perfect, but gives us a good idea about how it should looks, and it looks quite similar. I will going to extrude, and I will going to decrease the height, and I will align it in the middle. So like you can see here right now I have the wings ready. Those wings are not scaled right now, so maybe they are quite big, or I don't know, but they are looking good. So let's take a look. Let's move them to the right place. This is what I have. The color is this one. Yeah, I'm not completely sure. Okay, so let's take a look. I will going to scale my wings. I will going to rotate just to verify if I have the right scale. Maybe a little bit smaller. Yeah, it's Yeah, I think it's exactly this size. It's something like this, so I will keep this side as the reference. Like you can see here, this is the pivot point of the wing. So I will keep this more or less in this position. So how to create or continue creating the wing is something that I really need a better reference. This one cool works, but it's rotated, so it's quite hard to understand exactly how this works. So let's take a look if we have a more side view image file. Okay, so what I will going to do, I have to draw this particular object. I have already done this part, so I have to draw this other part. So for that I will just using proportion as always. I will move my wing to the position I have here just to make something as reference. I will create a rectangle, something like this. Convert the rectangle to a editable spline. I will refine in this part. I will add a couple of details. I will convert to corner. So this is more or less what I need. I have this particular part, this object, something like this. I will going to move this and Bezier corner to create a curve, the curvature, and this is it. I will extrude it, and like you can see here, this object, let me move this. Okay, it's wider, so I will move this object to the right position. It's something like this. Maybe let's wider. Let's see. It should have the same width of the wings, so it should be something similar to this. Let me see exactly the extrusion I have here. The extrusion here is not precise enough. It's not the same here because this object has been scaled, so that's why it looks. You have, for example, 8.5 centimeter, and this one has 6.5, and this is even wider. So it's because it has been scaled. So I will going to convert, or I can use editable poly just to make the adjustment I want. Okay, that's all, and I will increase the precision here. Okay, that's it. So this is the part of the wing. Else I need to create this particular object. Maybe I can reuse one of the object I already done. For example, this element here, I can clone it. We're going to clone as copy because I don't know if they have exactly the same size. All those pieces should have exactly the same size. If we are working in a trying to match a precision, we should try to make all of them the same size and reuse them as the real Lego works. But like we are doing this on the fly, for saying some way, we don't have this kind of precision. Okay, so that's it. This is my wing. It's already done. Now with my wing made, we're going to work in this object here. This object here, the roof, is this part of the roof, or you can see here is some kind of pieces like a trapezoidal shape, something like this. So I will going to create it in the top view. I will select all this part and I will create a rectangle. Like you can see here, it comes from all the side here. This is more or less. I will going to convert this to editable spline and oops, convert to editable spline again. Okay, and now I will going to divide the line. I can divide this line by a half. Remember, I will going to work on symmetry. I will go into corner and I will move this element. Like you can see here, I'm not completely sure as before how these things working, but I think it's something like this. Let's select all of vertex, convert to corner. This should be something like this. Okay, so I will go into extrude and let's take a look how it looks, how it works. I will going to apply symmetry in the y-axis, flip, and it's more or less what I needed. So let's move this up. This element, I think it's not needed. I will move this down. So this object that you can see here is part of the top of the cabin of the cockpit. So I will make them small changes here. I will going to change the line to keep things precise. I will going to add a editable poly to easy adjust the sides, and that's it. Okay, so that's what I have here. Okay, so we have right now more or less the parts of the top. Right now we need to create this turbine, this kind of cylindrical shapes, and to finalizing this all this rear area. This top element here will going to be created. This I will going to create them because they are easy right now to create them. So I will going to create I can do it with a rectangle. I will adjust the corner radius and I will use in I can use in a bevel. The bevel will allow me to make these things a little bit easier. I think I will going to assign in the Y minimum and maximum, and with the bevel I have the first height it will going to have. Later I can enable level 2 and I can adjust an outline. So like you can see, I made 3 different positions, something like this. I think this is more or less what I need. This is an easy way to do it. I will going to align this to the center. Okay, so right now they are 3 of them, so I will clone it as instance. Okay, right now I have it. This adds more detail. It looks better. Okay, also I will going to create the cylindrical shapes I have here. For this element I can create cylinders or just chamfer seals. The chamfer seals gives more fillet in the top, is not as sharp as the regular cylinder. I will going to increase the sides. Okay. So I will clone out all of them as instance. And later I will going to apply symmetry to all of them. Okay, so this element, yeah, these elements are not well placed. I think they should be in the, this element should be in the top of the cabin, something like this, and all this should be in this place. So I think all these elements should be moved a little bit, something like this. I think this looking, yeah, like you can see here, yeah, the cabin and all these pieces are split from this side, yeah, and are not in the center. The fillet maybe it's quite sharp, smooth, so I move this a little bit more. So yeah, this looks better. Okay, I will going to assign the symmetry in y-axis, flip, and I will going to center to my body of the vehicle. Let me see. We're going to, okay. Let me understand exactly what is happening here. Okay, maybe I don't have the these objects are not okay. Let me go back. These elements are not aligned correctly into the Y position, into the center, so that's why this is happening. I will move this. I think I need to adjust a little bit the scale, so I will adjust the something like this will going to work. Okay, so right now I can just use the symmetry and flip the objects and align it. Okay, so this element is what is causing me trouble, because this object is not looking good. Okay, right now this makes sense. And the thing is that this part of the object needs to be moved apart, something like this. And this one should be exactly here. I will make a small adjustment here to keep things precise, and this will going to affect, let's reduce a little bit the radius. I will move this element and adjust the symmetry again. Okay. Yeah, there are still some things, some small things that are not working as I want. I mean, these elements are not. I will going to remove the symmetry again, remove the symmetry, and I will take a look what exactly is happening here. If I align these elements into the center, completely into the center, this is okay. I will going to remove, I will going to select all of them, and I will apply the symmetry modifier, and I will place the symmetry, okay, right now in the center, Okay, now this makes sense. Okay, so again I will going to select all of them. I will apply the same color to everything to keep all more similar. Right now it looks better. I have this element, I have my wing. I will going to find to search for another reference for the here and here. From here, for example, there should be an object that will going to link to this other part. So I will create this big cylinder just to start blocking as before. I will create a big right now it's not a cylinder, we're going to create a tube. So this big tube will going to be placed in the center. So this is it, and in the side view I don't have a clue about if this is exactly this way. I'm not sure, there's no way to see it how far this cylinder goes below this object. This is something that I really need to find a better reference maybe later. So this is my cylinder, this is my the big back turbine, and I will continue using it. I will just increase the size. I will scale it to create the inner part as copy because I want to increase maybe the radius. And else than that, I need to, there is some, I think there's some things that give support. It's not quite visible for me, but well, I have this big, I will move this far away to avoid this situation. Right now I don't need it anymore. Let me see what else, what another information we can find. This information here is quite important. Like you can see, this one is looking very nice because it shows us that here there is an element that is supporting the turbine, and here is this element that is connecting. I think this part was useful. So I will going to create the cylinder. Like you can see here, I will going to create this element. So I will going to create just an element like this. This is going to be the starting point of this cylinder. So it will be something like this. I will convert this element to editable poly, and I will going to scale. Later I will going to extrude. I will going to make an inset to create some inner polygons and then extrude them, something like this. Maybe not as visible, just a small, yeah, something like this. Okay, so this element, like you can see here, is a split in parts. Maybe we can try to do it later, but right now I will going to make this just as one single object. So I just will going to make a small detail to give the separation or a small break, and then continue. You can see here they're continue with the turbine right now. So let's move this object something like this and make a bevel. Okay, So like I said before, here is this element you see here is some sort of a support. Like you can see here, this is some sort of L type, yeah, with this angle. So I will going to create this element, the side view. I will going to create a line. I will just draw a line that makes something like this. I will use the sweep modifier to use bar, and just I will going to adjust the parameters. So this is my element here. I will center both of them. I will increase the width. So this is how it looks right now. I think it makes sense. Let me see this image, how these things are linked together. Like you can see here, there is a connection between, this is a connection between the wings and these cylinders. So this should be at the center. This will be the connection. Maybe this will be a little bit down, something like this. And this way, this could be the connection that you can see here. So this element need to go from one side to another. So that's mean that all these elements should be a little bit higher. Okay. Well, okay, so let's continue with this object. This is a connection. This is the way, like you can see in this axis, I have an element that will connect all of them. So I will follow the axis of this Lego part, something like this, and I will do the object connection. I will move this a little bit more close, something like this, and that's all. I will going to create a line that comes from this part, for example, from this part to here. This line will going to be the connection. I will add the sweep again using cylinder. Okay, so this will going to be the place where the object will going to be linked, will going to be placed. So this means again that my wings, maybe they are quite in a good position right now, because a little bit move us to the side. Okay, so now what I need is I will going to move to this view, and I will going to draw something like this. I need to create a circle. I will going to align this Y and X, and this circle should be linked to a rectangle right now. To a rectangle, I think it's something like this. We're going to link to the object, and again, I'm not sure how this looks, but it's more or less something like this. I will clone this element. I will create another bigger rectangle here to cut the object. Maybe this rectangle needs to be rotate it to have this code something like this. Okay, so I think that's all. I will start doing things. I will going to convert this and spline. I will going to attach those lines and selecting the spline. I will going to make a subtraction. First I will going to subtract this part, later I will going to use to make an union, and later another subtraction, and this is what I have. And now this element, let me, before doing this, I will going to decrease the radius of these elements. Okay, so having this one, subtract, this is it. Okay, again I will going to extrude, and I will put this in the right position. So like you can see here, this is more at the something like this, and it's not quite big, it's just a couple of small, there are only two supports, one here and maybe one here. So yep, I think they are something like this. I'm still having some issues with this particular diagonal here. I'm not completely sure how far diagonal it should be. Something like this, I don't know. So maybe this gives me more. Okay, I think this is good enough. And this thing should be attached to something. I'm not sure. Let me select all of them. Let's see in the back or right now position. I will select all these parts and I will place all of them here and move a little bit. So I think this is the way it's done. Okay, so this line, I think it goes more, yeah, to give support to all these. I think this is it. I'm not sure if it is as big, but I think it's going to work. The other thing I notice in here is that the object, I'm not sure. This object, you can see here, have a diagonal for this side, from the side view, but it have a diagonal too from the back view. So it's something like this. Oops. In this particular view, I will going to create a rectangle again. Yeah, we're going to create a rectangle that comes from this part to this another part. And yeah, I think this rectangle we're going to extrude. In the side view, I will going to move to the right position. Something like this. So what I have here is I will going to convert this to editable poly to easy adjustment. So what I have here is something like this. This element will going to move something like this. Maybe this one needs to be higher. I'm not sure, to keep things more logical, I think. And there, this element needs to be diagonal, something like this, but it's not too wide, so maybe there's something I'm not doing right. Maybe my proportion are not right exactly, are not correct right now. Who knows? I'm not sure right now how to handle this, because the wing, for example, looks, let me see, the wings looks quite wider, but here, okay, yeah, this is the wing, it looks good, this is the support. Yeah, I think they are just two different objects. Yeah, there are two different objects, so I don't have anything to worry about. They are not linked like I have here, so it's just a matter of adjusting something like this. Okay, so let's continue exactly as I was. I will move this part from here, and I will put this I think it looks better, and maybe makes sense to keep this way. Okay. Okay, so right now I don't have, again, I have a couple of doubts about how these things are doing or positioning in this place, but I think there's no way right now for me to know exactly how this will going to work. So I think I almost finishing my details. I will going to have this element. Let me see in the side view how it looks. Yeah, they are working good. Okay, let's select all of them to give the same color to see how they looks more like this. Whoa, I forgot this. I don't know how far away. I can move them. Let me see if I can move them to the right position. For this, I think is, let me move this here using the tree snap. I will move this exactly to this vertex. And where are the other one? And this is it. Okay. Okay, so let's save and continue later with the other parts that are missing right now. There are almost, my wings are almost done. I think there is more or less what I really want to do. I still need more information about what is happening here in the rear part, but unfortunately I think there's no more information for me to handle. So this part, for example, these elements are not quite visible at all. So I think this is more or less what I am able to do with the information I have. I will try to find more information. If I am able to find it, I will continue creating some details, but as I think the information I have, I think this is more or less what I am able to do. I will going to move this a little bit down, because this element here looks something like this. Like you can see here, there is a different level here between those pieces. This is more or less what I can achieve, something like this, and this will going to give me more details about what working or what I want for this, for example, for this turbine. So I think this could be the way to do it. Maybe this big part will fix a couple of my doubts. Okay, so let me make a small adjustment. I will move this a little bit near, maybe something like this. I think I will going to make this smaller here. What I'm trying to find here is a functional way to work with these wings. I mean, right now they are more or less in the same position. I forgot to place them right, but yeah, to keep this less visible, all this missing information. So I just move in a little bit, and I think it's looks good this way.